Hey, I'm Rojo, and in preparation for the LEC and LCS finals this weekend, I'm going to be watching the LCK. DRX versus Gen G went to 5 games. I'm going to be watching game 5, first draft. So, anything interesting to note about the bans? Set's been very common, TF pretty common, that's common. Obviously Caitlyn, yep, yep. The Lucian and Graves are, I guess, kind of interesting. Um, but I guess are understandable. Uh, I think that Lucian probably doesn't necessarily need to be banned unless it was really problematic, and I don't remember the series because I didn't really watch all 5 games through. I will eventually, but not right now. On to game 5. Hmm. And Akali, Aurelia, LeBlanc, and only real weird one, I guess. Weird. Um, is the Lucian. Aside from that, pretty fine. Is there any exclusions that are weird? Not particularly. So, Lilia first pick. This is something that gets banned a lot. I think it does have flexibility. Um, Presumably it could be flexed in 3 roles, top, mid, and jungle. But obviously the most common role is going to be jungle, with probably second most likely being top. Strong scaling, farming style jungler, pretty good team fights, brings a good amount of damage, can be your solo form of magic damage, although in this case it's being accompanied with Silas. I don't know if it's necessarily great as the solo form of magic damage, because the way she deals magic damage I don't think is, or damage in general, isn't really doesn't really demand anyone to build any MR. So, for example, if this was an Evelyn instead, you could see rationale for, even if the entire opposing team, or even if the entire team you make, let's make this some AD champion. If the rest of your team is all AD, you could still see a reason why you'd be like, all right, I need to build MR against Evelyn. But Lilia is not really that kind of champion. She has interesting ganks, but she's mostly a farming style jungler. So, which if we look at, Graves ban, nothing else is really that Italy. Nothing really is popping out as farming junglers being the hot contested picks, aside from actual picks that are on the board. Obviously, Hecarim, he's a farming style jungler, but when you have a Gragas, he's probably going to be the jungler. So that's kind of off the table. But even still, yeah, she's very weird. I don't know if she necessarily fits into compositions. Maybe I just haven't seen it used. I mean, I've seen it used to pretty good effect. Maybe there's something I'm missing when she's being used. I keep saying I'm gonna pay attention to it, but it just is never a factor, or never a big enough factor that I'm like, oh, this is the pick. This is what I need to look at. This is something that's really, really crazy. Um, her Raptor taking ability makes level 1s more interesting, because she can kind of invade into the Raptors. But I think that's more of a, is a blue side Raptor invade? I mean, it's doable, but is it going to actually amount to anything? We'll see. Gen G then go Ballista, Hecarim. So these two things are completely counter to each other, because one, you know what? They're not really. They kind of counter to each other. So this isn't really defending the Callista. Also doesn't snowball the Callista. Because they're both kind of. and especially when you look at the next pick. So even if we just take into consideration this, right? Hecarim is a farming jungler. He doesn't. If he's spending time snowballing the bottom lane, he isn't being as efficient as he could be in getting to where he wants to be. Um, then when you consider the next pick here, this becomes a top laner, and then you have two lanes that want to be snowballed through, which is, I think, excessive. Um, One item is really good on Hecarim. One item is fine on Kalista. But Hecarim is more of a scaling champion. Kalista is obviously not necessarily super great at scaling. She's not a crit building AD carry. Um, Very focused on lane, very focused on the early game. I don't know if Hecarim's like this dominant top lane pick here that you can just be like, all right, we'll blind it and just we'll have at it, right? Because I could imagine a world where you're like, all right, we pick Hecarim because he can really steamroll the top lane, and then we also pick Kalista because she can steamroll the bottom lane. But generally, you want to pair Kalista with you either want to pair her with something that's going to dominate, so they're both forward, so that makes it difficult for an opposing jungler to work against them, because now the river isn't as free to them. Depending on how the mid lane matchup goes, it could actually get into being fairly bad for the opposing jungler in cases where all three lanes are having priority and they have push. But in this case, you're blinding Hecarim, and I don't know if he just like straight up wins any matchup he's put into. If that was the case, I would assume that he would be picked a lot more, because then he'd be broken, right? Solo queue wise, he's very strong, but I don't know how good he is competitively. Um, Anything else about Kalista and Hecarim? The way they team fight is also kind of off because he's gonna go and try to like flank around and try to get either like a really good backline engage or just parade through the front line to get to the back line. And Kalista's gonna be left going like, "Hey friend, I'm gonna get there. Hold on." So I don't know if that's helpful to each other either. Um, Also, another thing, Kallista's technically a flex pick, and if you pick Hecarim, I guess you could also argue he's a flex pick. But then they immediately say, we'll just pick Gragas, and then you know where everyone's going because Gragas is definitely going jungle, Hecarim is definitely going top, and Kallista's going bottom. If you're going to go for the flex pick nonsense, then you need to wait on the next rotation. You need to like keep the mystery alive on 1, 2, 3, and then you can solidify it on 4 because the bans are dependent on what you're picking here. In any case, it's probably not the worst, but doesn't seem like it's the best. They don't seem to be very congruent. Then we see Senna Braum. I have no idea why Braum. You're blinding it into a Kalista lane that's already going to be fairly dominant. Maybe Braum is just really good into Kalista that I'm not aware of. But Braum and Senna don't seem to. I don't think that they have very good synergy actually. Because Senna has one of the longest attack windups in the game. I think literally the longest, which means her ability to proc Braum's Unbreakable, is that what it's called? Is whatever his passive is. Not as good as most other AD carries. Also, it seems like it's really prone to getting counterpicked fairly easily. And in fact, if they had just picked the counter, right? They just pick a counter here, they can leave the jungle of mystery, and then they can pick Gragas here, because why would they ban a jungler when you're already presenting Hecarim into Lilia, and they both kind of have a similar like he's gonna farm and she's gonna farm, and they're like, all right, well, okay, Fine. You want to handshake the farm? Gladly. Especially when you see that they're willing to pick the Senna, which means that they're probably going to try to go late. Lily is not really trying to snowball anyone. Senna doesn't need to be snowballed. Very stable bottom lane pick. The Braum seems vulnerable and doesn't necessarily help any of the things that these two are trying to do. And then Genji, I've already looked at it, but Genji pick Gragas, which is fine. It is versatile in terms of the way that it plays, but it isn't necessarily versatile in the way that it is positioned in the lanes. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this? Wait a minute. I think I distinctly remember there being a. Is there a Gragas mid? Is this a Gragas mid? Wait a minute. That's cheeky. Wait a minute. Because if this goes top lane, right? I thought maybe okay, this goes mid. Looking at the whole draft, right? I thought maybe Ornn goes mid, Gragas goes jungle, Hecarim goes top, Kalista obviously goes AD, and then Karma stays support. But what if it's Ornn top, Hecarim jungle, Gragas mid? So maybe you know what? You know how I just said that there was no that it kind of lacks versatility because you kind of just basically told them what your draft is going to look like? I take it all back. I completely forgot that Gragas mid is doable, and I think was done in the LCK at some point, and I feel like it was this game. Don't necessarily know why. I feel like it was this game, or if it wasn't this game, it was whatever. It was sometime it was another game in the playoffs. Regardless, or was it? Whatever. Point the point is, I guess they have kept their versatility picks line. Gragas doesn't really reveal anything in terms of the way he's going to play because he can play defensively and offensively within his one kit. The issue, of course, being that Hecarim is a definitely go-in champion, and Kalista is a kite backwards champion generally. Obviously, Kalista can move forward if she wants to chase people down, but also generally, if Hecarim's engaging onto people, they should be far away enough that Kalista's not touching them anyway. Unless it's a counter engage, in which case possible. So right now you could argue that there's good counter engage setup with these two, with this as a primary carry for their team, right? And they're gonna play through the mid game as their big focal point. Because I feel like Gragas mid isn't going to get the damage numbers that other mid laners that were available at this point, right? Pretty sure that these four are the final four bans. So you're looking at LeBlanc was available, high damage assassin. Azir was available, high damage DPS. Kali, another assassin. Relia. Interesting that it's getting banned around the world. I'd actually like to see what people are so scared about of it for. So you know what? Just leave it up and let someone pick it, please. So yeah, as I was working through it, I just ate my own words. So that's why I do these things. Anyway, so then the bans go through, and then we ban mid laners all around. I guess technically this is you could argue that these two are top laners, so there's versatility in their picks. But so mid laner's gone. Mid laners are mostly up. Not DRX. Genji then pick Ornn. So you kind of have this really explosive, like what 12, level 12 to color. That's actually too vibrant. I'm not doing that. The level 12 is when he gets the ornaments, the Ornn items. And then level 15 is about when you can upgrade everyone. So this kind of expands the time for everyone to be strong. Here's the thing though. I'm pretty sure that Triforce isn't the best Ornn item. Blade of the Rune King isn't the best Ornn item. I guess you could still build Rabadons on Gragas, but seems like it would be like third item. And if we're looking to play for third item on this draft so far, I don't know why we picked Kalista. Especially with Ashe open. That's a big exclusion actually. Ashe isn't banned at all, and she isn't even picked. I feel like Ashe has been perma picked and banned for a very long time. Her exclusion is a little weird here, and frankly would have done wonders for Gen G's composition, um, because you could have gone the Essence Reaver build. IE has higher value than Kallista's Blade of the Ruin King. You can create picks with the Hecarim and the Gragas as well. If you're going for counter engage as your style for team fighting, which seems to be what they're doing right with Ornn, Gragas, Hecarim, uh, Ashe is really good with that too because she slows them and can kite them to infinity, and then you just counter engage, and then she uses her ult on targets, and then you just go on to the targets that extend too far forward into you. I don't know. Now I've had something negative to say about every single thing. I am less. I feel like the Hecarim and the Gragas are less problematic when you just kind of see the strategy that they're going for. The Kalista ends up becoming the odd one out, right? Which is weird. So you prioritize Kalista and Hecarim, and then she ends up being the odd one out in the rest of the composition you build. Like a beefy frontline counter engage. With this, imagine having a high DPS kiting, utility focused support carry in the back with these kind of like with a scaling carry on the Hecarim, and then you have the support Arma to provide shields for the Hecarim for the scale. Ashe was so much better. That's really unfortunate. They were this close. I think they have a really good counter engage composition. But then they fumbled. They fumbled immediately. They didn't fumble like, oh, we're gonna pick Kalista here. No, they fumbled immediately and then fixed the problem. Or maybe it's a case of they want to win lane early. They want to win the bottom lane, but Ashe just seems. It also seems more the LCK style, right? Where you play for the higher percentage choice. You play for the higher percentage decisions. Any case, going to DRX, they pick Renekton and Sylas, so they literally say, "Oh, you want to counter engage? Well, we're gonna go into you anyway." Seems suspect. Hecarim should do well into the, or sorry, Renekton should do well into Hecarim. With his more hit and run play style trading pattern, and even in long committed fights, I feel like once Renekton hits 6, he might actually have. Nah, there's no way because you use the Onslaught of Shadows to get away, right? Sylas is, I mean, right now he doesn't necessarily know what his lane opponent is. I would assume he's thinking, okay, it's Ornn or Gragas, right? Either way, there's a lot of high value ultimates, right? Kalista is actually decently high value because you can attach it to the Renekton, then you can kind of bring him out of the fight after he goes in. Hecarim's got a really high value ultimate for Sylas. Gragas has really high value. High value on Ornn. I mean, there's just so much value for that Sylas. I can see why they picked it here, even though it kind of runs headfirst into the Hecarim, Gragas, and Ornn. DRX's composition looks really messy. And what I mean by messy is the way that they fight is messy. The way that they win games is going to be really like spread out, awkward fights where people are going to get on top of random individuals and it's all going to be spread out, where Gen G aren't able to collapse onto each other or hold themselves in one formation. That's how DRX went. And they don't really have enough to make me think, oh, they can do that. The only thing that lets me think, okay, they might be able to do that is Silas using the Gragas ultimate to create those spread out fights. And then you use Lilia to kind of lock them down once you can get everyone in there. Senna to extend the fights. Do you want to extend the fights? You kind of do, because Senna, Lilia are good with extended fights. So is Silas. Renekton isn't necessarily that great in long DPS races. I'm gonna say races, but it doesn't really in kind of long drawn out fights. But if you look at Gen G, they're mostly burst, except for Ballista, and I guess you could argue Hecarim has a good amount of DPS. Um, but I mean, Gragas is a burst champion. Ornn is gonna burst. There's minimal burst on Karma. These two are the big DPS threats, but even then, Hecarim is mostly burst, or has a lot of burst on him. And if you get on top of Callista, which, I mean, Renekton, Silas, Braum, even Lilia, kind of, uh, Callista's gonna be sad, and her DPS is not relevant. Whereas with an Ashe, you have a much better. You'd actually be able to you'd hard stop the engage, and then you'd have counter engage behind you to be like, aha, unleash my horse, unleash my drunk man, and unleash my goat demigod. I mean, they should win bottom lane, right? So let's look at the more like the lane setups.
Otherwise, this is definitely very shaky for a draft. They do have some insurance in the later stages. Chovy.
I'm gonna eat my words like 4 times already. I am not 20 minutes in. I am only on draft, and I've eaten my words like 4 times. Karma ends up going mid. Doesn't actually change the assessment too much, because Gragas still has a high value ultimate for Silas. Gragas is still going to be used mostly for disengage, potentially for engage, but mostly disengage. Yeah. I was going to say that Karma and Kalista don't really seem to make sense, because using the Black Spear on Karma seems awful, because she's never going to go in, and the only reason you use your ultimate on her is if she gets caught in a bad spot, which is a weird kind of insurance policy for a player when you're putting them on Karma. But Gragas is a different story, because he's actually kind of beefy and is willing to go in and has abilities that can help him go in. DRX, that was what I expected. So it seems like Genji went with hmm. Was it? Kalista might have been a takeaway. You know, DRX with Kalista is probably really painful. Because then you have uh, the 2 things I was talking about. The dominant side lanes, if Kalista's over here. You have the dominant side lanes that allow the Lilia, the farming jungler, to be fairly free of any problems. She won't feel any threat. All she's got to do is make sure that the opposing jungler doesn't really do anything, and it's a Hecarim, so it's even easier. So yeah, the Kalista is probably a takeaway, because they had to use it. They must have had to use a ban on Graves. I feel like this Graves ban is a Kalista ban. It feels better. Maybe even a Lucian ban. But I almost feel like the Graves could have been the Callista, and it would have been, I think it would have been an improvement. Pretty good improvement in terms of banning. And then you could have picked the Ashe into this spot, which seems to be the actual place. This seems to be the actual champion for this team. But they took it because they had to take it away from Deft. Okay. It's all coming together. Generally, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure LS is current, like, as I paused talking about the draft. Don't want to unpause. I need to make an assessment. Who do I think is actually, what draft do I like better? I know the DRX wins, so it's obviously going to color my opinion. But I feel like with the exclusion of Callista, this entire draft is really well thought out. But it's a matter of getting to where they need to get. Orange should be stable against Renekton. This is a farming matchup. Karma should be fine into Sylas. Should actually be really fine into Sylas. And Callista and Graga should be dumbstering the Senna. Braum. Dumbstering's probably too strong. Should be winning. Senna is always able to stay so stable. I feel like all the matchups for Genji feel really good, or are like they're neutral positive at worst. It's possible for Necton to pop off on his own, but barring some mistake, Orange should be fine. I don't really know the player's tendencies, so it's very possible that Rascal might just make a mistake immediately, and then the entire thing is just ruined. Because a snowballed Renekton can translate that to snowballing other lanes, which creates a problem, because then you have an AD carry who's just not going to be useful, and then you have a bunch of champions who want to get to where they're trying to get, and they can't get there, and then it feels really bad. But what do I know? What's actually going to happen is Genji are going to randomly fight at an objective they shouldn't, and then they're going to lose. So watch.
He has access to a lot of very good ultimates. Piotrek is on Lilia, and we'll have to see what ends up happening here. So BDD going to be on the Karma in the mid lane. And we cannot currently see any of the summoners, so we don't totally know what's going on there.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to know what Ellis said.
In the later stages, Chovy has access to a lot for a draft, or if Clid gets ahead. Otherwise, this is definitely very shaky for a draft. They do have some insurance in the later stages. Chovy has access to a lot of very good ultimates. Piotrek is on Lilia, and we'll have to see what ends up happening there. So BDD going to be on the Karma in the mid lane.
His thoughts are kind of scattered.
We cannot currently see any of the summoners, so we don't totally know.
He kind of like bounced between the two teams. All right, we're just gonna get into the game.
The same thing. The orange.
No, what do you mean? Elskin
is much more stable and well-rounded, but obviously.
Are we gonna? Is this gonna be one of these? All right. No cinematic entrance. Everything looks okay. All right, they had to play this game on live. So good thing is their ping is pretty decent. Bad thing, obviously, different patch than half the series. And also there was a massive break between the games.
Okay, the game is going to get underway.
Okay. So the level 1 currently is just basically a 5-point start with a ward from Braum in the Pixel Brush on bottom side.
If you wanted to go to Worlds, now's your chance. And you were talking about how Genji, they're really building around Ruler here, right? There's so many beefy boys in the front. They even have a semi-supportive mid as well with the Karma, and so many ways to engage, to enable Ruler to do the carrying. I think they need to end it before we get too late in the game. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but I feel like the lack of range from the Callista can hurt in the super late stages of the game. So if we go to like a massive, like 50-minute game,
I mean,
fairly cautious. No one's actually doing anything. Defensive vision from the Hecarim.
I mean, in super long games, it's just such a menace to try to deal with.
I didn't actually say which draft I thought was better.
Infernal's gonna be the first one. coming up here for the
If
draft.
that Callista was Ashe, I would say that it's Genji. Because it's not Ashe,
Yeah.
honestly, the Renekton isn't actually that bad,
I mean, it's
given what they want to do.
it's crazy what he's
So I
been
feel
able
like
to do for his team,
DRX
and
actually
now, as you mentioned it,
should feel
some
pretty
Marvels
comfortable.
Here, they hand it over to Ruler and they say, well, sir,
But
Callista the
a lot of
Shadow.
that has to do with the fact that Genji
And we're paying a lot of attention down
are
here.
going to have low
There's not a
damage,
whole lot of action that's taking
especially if
place
this
here.
Callista doesn't get snowballed. And because they don't necessarily have, or this Hecarim, I guess, if they need either the Callista or the Hecarim to snowball, and I don't know if they necessarily have the tools. Okay, this, yep. Did I say they were going to dumpster? That's what I meant.
You can see he was looking. He was,
Trying. Yeah, he's attempting it.
This is
but
just,
maybe the rest of the team is like, get the hell
Callista at work.
Get out of here. Just farm your jungle. Do what a nice Lilia does, and that's what the Bambi does. She farms up really fast and gets a couple items, runic echoes, Leandry's.
Okay.
Huge menace. So we're hoping that Poche can kind of follow that script as we
Everything's
were talking about before.
fine
and
for the
get some
most part.
farms up really fast and gets a couple items, runic echoes.
They have an
Leandry's, and
unfortunate
eventually
spot
becomes
for
a huge
the
menace. So,
Ornn.
we're hoping that Poche can kind of follow that script as we were talking about before. And again, some more eyes on the mid lane. It looks like
If we
it
look,
has
just jungle check. Seems like red Krugs, Raptors, blue into bottom side. I'm not sure what he's looking to do. I mean, this might be a case of why am I still in the center of the screen? So these red Krugs, Raptors, blue into bottom side. He's a little early for the Scuttle Crab, so I guess he's looking for something. I don't think it's feasible for him to go for anything onto Senna and Braum, so this seems like a waste of time.
much easier time. Here comes Clint. He's
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to do right now. I mean,
Never mind, I have.
making
Wait.
his way in. I guess they're gonna try to go for this now. Teleport on Chovy. Okay.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. They're just going for it right now. The decider here. They want to get the kill and they want to give it over to Ruler. He's going to get the first blood.
Okay.
The teleport comes in from Chovy, and he might just be giving them another kill.
I don't know about
No
the
way that
second
he's gonna
dive.
Get out of here. He's trying to drink one back. They will get life, but I don't think anyone else is going to get out of here.
That's actually really funny.
No way that he's going to be able to get out of here. He's trying to drink one back. They will.
Samira
But I don't think anyone else is going to get out of here.
emote.
Chovy's going to be locked down, and that might just do it.
All right.
Already level 3. They come in here and a double kill for the Hecarim and the 1-0 and 2 for Ruler.
And you can
Okay.
see that DRX are
Okay,
gonna
I
try
see
to
you.
fight back on the top side of the map right now, but
Ornn
DRX
is
up.
not
It's a turret
dead.
down. They're almost out of minions. Kochik now
He's
taking
dead.
a lot of damage.
The knockup as Piochik is going to be able to
He's
get
dead.
a huge movement speed is so crucial. And that is really what's going to set up.
Piochik
So,
did the right thing, getting
Light is
the
looking for
aggro and holding onto it.
insane. No dash available. He's going to get
He's thick.
He is
Oh,
so
he's dead.
so dead. Piochik, we
This
talked
is
about
gonna
it.
be it. This is gonna be one of these, isn't it?
Script.
Okay.
Go back home. You are
In this case, I think this is actually beneficial for Genji. I mean, obviously the dive is good. Okay, and they're already killing Chovy too.
Oh,
They're
he's
already on
able
Chovy.
to get out. Looks like the tether goes down. And
I don't know why.
we're
Yeah.
pushing back, guys.
So
Okay,
Chovy has no
so this is
teleport.
gonna be one of
I'm
these.
not so certain why they're shoving that out. Now, take a look at this again. Renekton tries to teleport as well. He goes into the brush. Watch
I
this.
feel.
I'm not
Wait.
certain why they're shoving
Should
that
Def
out.
not be hugging his tower a little closer? No, because you want to get away from Ruler, right? I guess that's the idea. But then he does this and he just takes free damage from Clid. And then he walks back in anyway because he needs to hug the tower to survive. So he's gonna get hit with Callista anyway. And Life is the one who's tanking. So yeah, I guess I can see it. It's fine.
Renekton tries to teleport as well. He goes into the brush. Watch the minimap. So that ends up getting canceled by Rascal.
I didn't consider the teleport along with
He's even further
the
behind
3.
than we originally
Probably a bad idea to go for the dive.
brought down by the
With a
Killer.
teleport,
He knew that he wasn't long for the world. And now
works.
Genji, they're in such a commanding position inside this game. Oh wait, what?
What's going on?
Wait, what happened?
Rascal
Wait.
flashes. I don't know
Wait,
if
why-
this
why
is
is Piochik
happened.
about to
Maybe he's
solo
checked or
Rascal?
something, but that is really awkward for Rascal. He's already down a bunch of CS, and
Okay.
We'll see how Dornan responds to this. He can
Okay,
clear
it's
these
fine,
waves.
it's fine,
quickly. There's
it's
no
fine.
teleport. Thankfully,
Fine.
at least it's a cannon wave, but
Just
still definitely not the best look for Rascal.
pretty much
He needs to do
ruins
that
his
well
lane.
for his team in the top.
It's fine.
Yeah, and you can see that Chovy in mid right now. He's up 11 CS. Has Ionian boots as
He's
his
good.
first
Did he
item.
miss that cannon?
Top lane.
Yeah, and you can see that Chovy in mid right now. He's up 11 CS. Has Ionian boots as
No,
his
no, no,
first
that's not
item.
his cannon.
And you can see BDD
I don't know what
Chovy
colors are
into
apparently.
the Athene's Unholy Grail.
Despite
You can
very
see
clear
Renekton
different
up on the
colors.
top of the map right now. I'm very surprised Doran didn't try to feign Lilia's presence there, given that Rascal doesn't have any wards. They know Rascal
Okay.
has no wards, and they could have made him be a lot more.
So a lot of things that were happening that needed to be replayed. So kind of not really able to see the setup or the pathing for those, but it's fine so far. I like the willingness to go for the. I like the willingness to go for that dive because Callisto does want to get snowballed. So I can see why you'd say, all right, well, you know, even though it's not necessarily the doesn't necessarily look like the most efficient or high percentage play. I don't know why he even bothered. We go for it because it's how we're gonna win the game, right? It's the working condition. They need it in order to get to where they want to be. I was literally just talking about how they need to snowball Callista and Hecarim, and they have. I mean, Hecarim and Callista feel super, super good. Those extra kills. Okay, Silas is in a pretty commanding spot. Rascal is on top of Doran. He is super dead. The emote coming out. Karma comes in as well to help with that. Karma's actually moving a lot more than I would expect a Karma to move. But maybe that's my poor perception of the champion. Chovy is basically unkillable. Alright, they just shove in the wave and back off. Ruler is left alone. Gragas went up top side, which means that lane control is on the DRX bottom lane. They're really willing to go for these plays. Very, very willing to just go for plays like this. And I wonder if this slows down at some point.
Comes in here. I'm not totally sure what Hecarim was trying to do. I think he's trying to run to BDD for the shield. Doesn't end up getting too much more value. And then you can see, yeah, Chovy just barely able to escape right there. Tether not landing anymore, and then you can see Rascal being very reserved at that point. So gold score back to being totally even right now. Now Ruler is massive down there in bottom lane. He's up 23 farm on the Callisto. Blade of the Rune King already completed.
Okay.
Is in depth's inventory right now.
So I feel like you have the snowballed Hecarim and you have the snowballed Callista. At this point, you want to slow down, don't you? Wouldn't you rather slow down at this point and say, all right, we need to keep it more calm. We need to make sure that we can farm up, and we have the farming options now. I feel like they're not. They should be fairly willing to farm, get to the one item. I mean, they're at the one item now, so I guess farming be damned. That is a super strong Callista. Way farther ahead than I thought she was. Okay. Actually, let me just look at the setup for this. So Gen G being so ahead, right? How did they leave? Okay, they went to replay. There's so much action that the replays just keep happening, and I can't see the setups for things exactly how I would want to. I guess it doesn't really matter. The point is, they left bottom lane in a neutral state. Looks like Deft is going to return to the bottom lane on Senna. Maybe he can add something with his Dawning Shadows if need be, but Callista's moving to the top side, like help with Herald, and then transfer to top lane, which actually kind of further punishes Rascal, but kind of what you get for being a weak side top laner when you have a Callista on your team, I guess.
Is available, and Rascal is going a bit of Build-A-Bear Workshop right now. I really hope we don't see another Frozen Fist.
You know, there's certainly a chance, so hold on to your sanity for this one last one.
Ruler kind of hiding,
and I mean, this is
because you don't necessarily want to reveal your AD carry's position, and then that's revealed. So Senna should feel very free to push the lane, and she is pushing as fast as she can. She is Senna though, she's not necessarily going to be the fastest pusher, and then even then, Ornn will use the teleport to secure the wave that has been pushed so graciously into him. Ruler also has the who's it? The Eye of the Herald, which will let Ruler get an extra bit of gold within the next
means that her recon
2.5
is
minutes.
somewhat stunted. Mountain Dragon's coming up in 40 seconds. This is a very big dragon for Gen G to try
And
take
as
down.
Ellis just said,
And
Dragon
Braum has
is in 40 seconds.
So Rascal's
Kalista
gonna
does
go
move back bottom.
not gonna be able
The
to
lane was left neutral in the bottom side,
ended up ignoring. He is
whereas the
getting
lane was
pretty
shoved
strong
into
in this
Ornn.
sector,
So
and
again,
Cody
Ornn is actually, so this actually is now
doing pretty much
benefiting
doing
Ornn.
Joby things.
Yeah, he is
This went from potentially not helpful at all to actually good for Ornn. Now Ornn is transferring to the bottom side, so he's kind of leaving that in not the best shape, but that's fine. I can understand why you'd want to move. If you take these two, you should feel really, really, really secure in your spot. Having 2 dragons, getting that first herald, having a snowballed Renekton, or not Renekton, having a snowballed Hecarim and Kalista against the team with Renekton, you should feel pretty good.
She likes to keep everyone entertained, so it is how it goes.
I'm surprised she gives up her secrets.
I don't know how much more the Kalista is going to be able to get on this. I feel like you just have to spawn it now on this wave, or maybe the next wave. I think you might be able to wait for next wave. Okay, he just decides not to wait for next wave.
Yeah, not quite as strong.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, some plates coming out. 320 extra gold.
I guess it was feasible for them to wait, but
it means that extra gold goes towards the AD carry. So gotta feel pretty good. That does come in. There's that one plate. I feel like you just walk up.
Yeah.
just one more auto from the Kalista will claim that, or any auto damage from the minions,
Oh no. Okay.
and bam.
So that was
Great, that's actually really good, and because it's not taken, you do not extend the lane to provide a free freeze lane, not like, I don't know if DRX are the team that would take advantage of that, but it would be available to them.
And so there is that little bit of upside.
Everything's pretty great. Everything's pretty great for Gen G. I don't know how they lose. I mean, they are behind in gold somehow. How? What happened? Oh, the mid lane because of the karma movement. But also, wait, hold on. I need to see what's going on with the karma. What is going on that, like, how does karma have so little farm in comparison? Okay. Huh? Alright, here's BDD. He's in the bottom lane. I think they were about even at this point. They were almost literally even.
But Doran messes up. Takes a turret shot. They're almost out of minions. Piochik now taking a lot of damage.
The knock-up as Piochik is going to be able to get out of there. That huge movement speed is so
Okay.
crucial. And that is really what's going to set up the kill. So
Then Silas comes in, shoves the wave,
you are dead.
And now double cloth armor actually picked
and
up.
looks like it's actually shoved into Karma. Not really able to get farm. Okay. So maybe it's just
already down a bunch of CS, and we'll see how Dornan responds.
the condition of the
Clear
wave.
these waves
Wait,
so
and then she had to
there's no
back?
teleport, at least it's canon.
What happened? He immediately backed. We caught a glimpse for a second, right?
So I'm not so certain.
No, hold on.
He is so dead. Piochik, we talked about following the script. That was not on the script. Go back home. You are dead.
And now double cloth armor.
Okay, so this
up here
comes into Karma.
That ends up
I guess she had to back somehow. I don't know what she did to cause that. She backed, right? She walked to lane. So Karma walks to lane, and then I guess something horrific happened because she had to leave the lane and come back. So there's one discrepancy already. I mean, I guess at this point Silas's trading pattern is pretty great into Karma, but I don't know if it'd be that good. If we can watch trade happen or something.
Yeah, and you can see that Chovy in mid right now, he's up 11 CS, has Ionian Boots as his first item. And you can see BDD, he's trying to go into the Athene's Unholy.
Seem to be any action happening. About 2 waves ahead now. 37 is being shoved in. 38, 39. Doesn't seem to be any problems with the farming. Okay. We're still pretty close. Then the next wave comes in. It might be a case of just like every so often the wave will. Okay, here Chovy can just. He doesn't need to be here. He can just. He'd be expanding his lead, frankly.
For Gen G, who already start off with a lead, but the Infernal Drake is going to make things even
Okay,
easier,
so
especially denying it away from
just every wave, you know, losing out on 1 or 2 minions is gonna hurt Karma. Gradually increasing the discrepancy.
for Gen G, who already start off with the lead.
We're looking at 66 to 51,
which is a very big
72 to
Their Karma
59.
as well as Hecarim gets himself a bit of resistance. His Ornn benefits quite a lot. And the okay.
Fast horsey boys getting in there, looking to bop back that Renekton. The Ornn Horn from Jungler. The smites are going to come down. They're looking to trade back now. As down will go the out 3v1 is going to be good enough as a big S going to be thrown up.
And then here, Karma also, and then here again, Karma moves first, which means that Chovy has the chance to shove the wave and get more minions. Then Karma loses out on the wave that has been shoved in because Karma's here, helping Doran in a, or helping kill Doran.
The wings looking to take out the enemy jungler. The smites are going to come down. They're looking to trade it back now. As down will go the jungler of
Silas is able to get a kill back. Doesn't end up dying though. Seems fine.
So much here. Will they actually be able to get away as the tether comes in, but they cannot get.
Barely manage to immediately.
Okay. There's now about a 3-wave difference in the mid lane at this point.
Right there. On the Kalista, Blade of the Rune King already completed the Bear workshop right now. I really hope we don't see another frozen.
Okay. But
you know,
4 waves.
So hold on to your sanity for this one last one, LS. We can make it through. And I mean, this is
The wave is neutral now.
And we're reaching a spot.
I guess at some point, BDD must have lost an other wave, while Chovy managed to get another. I guess he got to the lane quicker. I don't know how.
What they might be able to unlock here. So DRX might be stepping on eggshells, whereas Gen G will.
And then here, again, Chovy decides, alright, I can't really do anything about this play. I'm going to get the farm. BDD is still here, and then the wave gets shoved in. There's another set of minions that 1 or 2 minions that she might have lost. Looks like half of the wave. 2 minions right there lost from the push. No. Then there's an other wave that this happens again on. So BDD is constantly leaving the lane and not, like, he's just not there. He's doing everything he can to avoid laning against Silas. Okay. Which is why the discrepancy is so massive. Which is why the gold is so even. Back to where I was in the game. Was I here? I wasn't. I don't think I was that far. This seems right.
So congratulations. We've got 1 correct LS item here in this game, and we'll have to wait and see how the rest of that build does go.
Okay.
But, certainly things looking still good.
The mid lane is looking really problematic.
Any pressure, deft and carry. They're just sitting back in the lane and catching waves, and maybe just trying not to get dove. So
even though the value on BDD's items is going to come in and is going to be pretty high, the issue is that should be first tower. The issue is that Silas is eventually going to completely outpace Karma's value. So the 2 items spike on Karma is going to coincide with 2 items on everyone else. And then it looks like you're going to have almost dead weight on Karma. Especially relative to her lane opponent. I guess it's not really dead weight, but probably not reasonable to say that, but or it might be too harsh. Might be reasonable, but it might be too harsh. Okay. 1 minute to the Ocean Dragon. Gen G look like they're going to be setting up for it. Gosh, I wish they were on this. I wish it was Ashe. I wish it was Ashe, because then the Gragas mid would have been much better into Silas, and the Karma Ashe lane would have done the same amount of damage to Deft and Kyria on Senebrom. But I guess they had to. I just don't like that. I genuinely think they lost this game off of the bans and the first pick.
They're in a really good position. They have all the vision that they could possibly want. They have Ruler crashing in the mid wave. They have vision of Doran. Should be a pretty difficult fight, but
Because then you have a manageable mid lane, but maybe BDD doesn't play Gragas.
And so Rascal looking to build maybe an item prior to this team fight. They gotta be really careful.
Biochick hits only 1 whatever that seed is called.
Looking to position with his teammates. This is a very bad narrow corridor against Braum. I don't know why Gen G are positioning like this. Okay, well, Doran taking a little bit of damage.
Okay, they're gonna funnel in. DRX are on the objective first. Now they're using their counter-engage abilities, and they're not counter-engaging, and they're actually... Oh, wait, that was Silas, never mind. Okay, this is actually going fine. Rascal almost dies. Isn't really that much damage left. Kalista doesn't really have an option to go into people, because there's too much danger involved with going into Silas, going into Lilia, going into Renekton.
And this is one of the best timing fights that DRX could have hoped for.
I think Renekton actually died there, if I'm right. Go back. So here's where LS kind of questioned their position, and not that egregious. DRX on the objective.
They've been able to get into the river now, so seems like both sides in a pretty good position. Here comes Toby's.
Okay, I thought that was actually Rascal's ultimate, and I thought that was really confusing. But now that I see that it is Chovy's ult, it's not worst.
As the knockup goes in, it's not very effective, but Glid is getting low.
Okay.
Knockup here, Senna getting a lot of value though.
Glid
gets low, but in come the shield.
losing a lot of health. Alright, they immediately kill Braum.
Might just be good enough, but Depth doing some critical damage. There's the Mantra Shield. Ruler struggling to get fast comes in from life,
but
it's
is
not
still
good enough.
alive.
The follow-up is the question. As okay, life goes in, but he didn't get anything else, and now the Ocean Drake is going to go the way of DRX, and they are looking to try to come back in the series.
Yeah, and you can see that Ruler, he's trying to
Question, what items are we looking at right now?
crashing. Yeah, I mean, at this point,
Karma doesn't have Athene's. She's so behind. Or, she has Athene, sorry. Ardent Sensor. Ardent Sensor would be... oh man, that'd be so big. What? Wait. I mean... No. 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 Incorrect. No. If Rascal decides to commit to one item to go for, he'd have it for this fight, and I'm pretty sure Abyssal Mask is really good. He really just needs the Bramble Vest to fight the Renekton. Would be enough if he needs to. So that's not good. Obviously, PDD falling so far behind because he's been moving so much is not good. I mean, they should feel fine because the items aren't really there for DRX either. So it's not like it's a massive discrepancy. I wish Rascal had his Abyssal Mask though.
They've been able to get into the river now, so seems like both sides in a pretty good position. Here comes Toby's version. As the knockup goes in, it's not very effective, but Glid is getting low. The knockup here, Senna getting a lot of value though as Glid gets low, but in come the shield and the heals. And the bouncy castle in the back line might just be good enough, but Depth doing some critical damage. There's the Mantra Shield. Ruler struggling to
Ruler has a hard time. Ooh.
Comes in from light, but it's not good enough. Where is the follow-up is the question.
I mean, there's no follow-up because what you need to do is counter the engage from DRX.
And this is one of the best timing fights that DRX could have hoped for because that Kalista is stunted, because the Karma doesn't yet have the Ardent Sensor, and a lot of that is actually because BDD is so far behind in the CS department. Normally,
okay, Ellis, I was just talking about how you can't just take my points, okay? Never mind that I might have just heard you and then been completely replicating what you said. I don't think that's actually what happened, but possible. I don't. Like you hear background noise and then you start kind of emulating it. I'm pretty sure I commented before though. Yeah, no, that's. You see now they should feel great. Oh, let's fight. Oh, Harun's Hurricane on Harun's Hurricane plays Rune King on who's it? Kalista feels really good. Still don't have our Ardent Sensor. It's really unfortunate.
Sensor should be online. Death Stance maybe even on Hecarim possibly at the next team fight. Runon's Hurricane picked up by Callista. She's probably going to try
Hecarim is
for the
choosing to
Kallista's third item,
forego
or she's
the
Death Stance, so we'll see
Cinder
what
Hulk.
ends up happening there.
Feel like
Now on the
you
Silas
kind
third
of
round,
need it given what your job actually is. So he should. I feel like he should look to complete it third, right? Like, sure, I can see the value of going Triforce Death Stance, but I think that you complete Cinder Hulk.
It's not like the insane numbers, but it's pretty damn good. Alongside of Doran, who is also doing a fantastic job with his.
Okay, Lilia's close to her Leandries. This is a big problem.
They don't have the damage to take him out, but
okay. They can't actually finish off Genji. They do get to aggress onto the mid lane. I don't think that anyone needs to actually defend this. I guess Rascal's relatively safe.
Now with the Hecarim ultimate, that is something they have to respect. This is a very strong timing for DRX if a fight would end up unfolding. So all that they need to do is avoid this. Try to get to the Ardent Sensor for BDD on the Karma. Try to just stall out. Let Ornn get 13.
Really? I mean, Ellis is... Now I know for sure that Ellis is talking about the items. And he's right. They should definitely wait to finish up those items. Rascal finally hit 13. I'm pretty sure I said 12 earlier was when he gets his item. Obviously it's 13. I don't know what... I don't know what came over me there. Stuck in the past. But also DRX are looking for items too. Leandries is a huge completion on for Lilia, and it's completed. Oh, no, wait. Oh, okay. I thought that was Hecarim. I was like, what did he just do? Okay, that's Silas. It's fine. Clearing out the wave. If he can get that Leandries, he will be so massive. I don't think he can, but I don't know if Merman is going to be completed. Also, Kyria, I don't know how close he seems to be relatively close to his Gargoyle Stoneplate. DRX are actually on the objective already. Renekton is teleporting into the pit instead of going for the flank. I think this makes sense. And that's a really, really good Hecarim ult into Smite. But the question is, can they get out? Vixena up. This is leading him right into the Baron, which is almost certainly going to be taken. Okay. So the Dragon taken is really good, obviously, but you almost should be willing to give. Wait, what did we just use everything for? Hold on. Okay. This is Chovy ult. Okay, it doesn't do anything. Okay, Life threw out his ult to maybe get Deft, and then Deft just gets hit up onto the wall, and someone's already moving into him. I think that was Silas moving into him, so basically misses. Doesn't do any damage either because he's a support Gragas. Callisto is then forced to ult the Gragas away. You know that Clid used his ultimate to get the dragon. That's a-okay. Call of the Forge God being saved for next series, I guess. I don't know what he's waiting for. What is the occasion? Ah. Wait, did Kyria hold on to that the entire time? There's no way. I'm watching Kyria this whole time now.
Yeah, he's going to look to throw that out here, probably to secure the timing. Yes, here it comes. The knockups, it is going to be avoided as the damage comes in. Goes to Hecarim and he gets it. He gets the steal, but the damage comes in. The little thing Lullaby is massive. And
he held it the entire time.
And it looks like DRX might just be able to win this fight.
No one was able to threaten Kyria to force him to use that. So he held on to it. That's why Rascal held on to it for so long. I thought he would have used it. Wow. And for the record, did they have the Ardent Sensor? They did. They had the items they were looking for. They had every item that they were looking for, right? Except for upgrades from Ornn, but those aren't really going to happen. I guess they didn't have the Death Stance, but I think that that's going a little too much or asking for too much. So you get the 2 Ornn items. You have the Triforce. You're about halfway to your Death's Dance. You have your 2 port mage items. You have Runons and Bork.
One on Pioshik.
Yep. Fusion over, or might have Ruin King. Teleport coming out, Toby once again with Ornn.
Yeah, he's going to look to throw that out here probably to secure the timing. Yes, here it comes. The knockups, it is going to be avoided as the damage comes. Oh, goes the Hecarim and he gets it. He gets the steal, but the damage comes in. The Lilting Lullaby is massive and the damage comes out.
Hecarim having used the ult onto the pit is really painful, actually.
Oh, fighting as much as he possibly can as Ruler. Unbelievable what this. And he gets it. He gets the steal, but the damage comes in. The Lilting Lullaby is massive and the damage comes out from depth. They're fighting.
Wait, what Lilting Lullaby?
Yes, here it comes.
What did he do? He hits
Oh,
life. Oh, then he gets to then he gets to freely come into there because no one because he can't get tossed out because no one can disengage because they use the disengage abilities. I mean, they played the fight wrong. Wrong in that the way that the way that their team is designed to fight, it was just not implemented because they kind of had a desperation go for the dragon. Honestly, if you're gonna go for that though, I feel like you don't necessarily need your entire team to int with you. So Clid could have just been a sacrificial lamb. I think they went a little close. I feel like if Life holds on to the ult, he can get his team away because a lot of how DRX chase you down is fairly melee focused. So you can just toss them out and then walk away. I think that was a couple of misplays. Arguably, by the way, the 3rd dragon could have been avoided as an actual fight point. So, you know how I said they're going to fight at a dragon they probably shouldn't? I'm going to take it. Undeservedly, I'm going to take credit for prediction. The 4K gold lead. DRX should feel really, really good. In a game that Gen G probably should have been in a commanding position to win. I think the mid lane was just too big of a problem. And I think misuse of certain abilities in fights based around the way that they're supposed to play them is costing Gen G their Game 5. Okay. Ornn ultimate or Ornn passive onto the Blade of the Ruin King. Not the greatest. I don't think that Clid and yeah, Clid's not gonna kill Chovy. I guess if you get Rascal, oh, but if he just misses, oh my goodness, can he die, please? 5 people, and now the position is terrible for Gen G to have to walk into this area. And I mean, Chovy's gonna be alive by the time the dragon's up. Sends out the pillar, but then whips the E, and it really looked like, I mean, okay, things were going from pretty much bad to worse here. Ornn ultimate comes out, they get the kill onto him, they also use the Callista ultimate, not the end of the world. So all the invest is really ult. What abilities are going to be on cooldown for this dragon? Wait, why did Ruler have to use his, wait, what did he, no. What did he do that for? Please tell me Ruler didn't use his. Why would he need to do that? Please tell me he didn't. Oh, why? So unnecessary. He actually gets the kill. Did he get the kill off of the ult? I'm still not okay with it. No, he got it from a Q. I don't think that you can actually. Does it even do damage? It doesn't matter. Yeah. 30 seconds for this fight. This is going to be the pivotal point in the game. If Gen G can get this dragon, they should be able to win the ensuing fight and every fight afterwards.
You can do it. You can do it. There it is. There we go. There it is. Oh, and they even avoid the bowling
ball,
so there you go. And
they miss the bowling ball.
Third time the charm. We'll have to find out. Dorn is
okay, how do they want to play this? Clid, is he going to go for the hero play again? think that's
Trying to
gonna be the
front
plan.
Rascal and Life. Nice amount of damage coming out to the shields mostly.
He is unstoppable during that.
DRX here comes and Keria is going to go in and
Carrier's
taking so much
used
damage.
his
He's gonna
wait,
use
they're
the
going
first
oh,
kill.
they're going in.
That is so massive that they're able to take
And he does get the wait, this should be a game. Wait, how do they lose? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. 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 No, no, no. No. How do they lose this game, please?
Sen is gonna spawn at the exact time that Baron spawns, and so Deft will be there with Dawning Shadow and trying to run off the fountain with Home Guards. But this is definitely gonna be interesting. Ocean Soul on the side of Genji. Things are getting really, really problematic now. For DRX, I don't know what they're expected to do. Chovy needs to dig deep. He needs to find a certain book.
It would look like as though Hecarim is going to be going for the third item under Hulk, by the way. I feel like he does need it because it'll help him actually go into fights and disrupt them, which is his whole purpose. I think they actually played this. They played this really well, actually. They went from a position where Clid might just have to go for the steal to finding Chovy out in a spot that Chovy should not have been in. Look a little more closely. I don't know what magic they pull. Okay. Okay, the bowling ball only hits Ruler. I don't think that's enough to ult. Okay, Chovy then calls the Forge God. Kyria positioned the... Wait. Oh, I guess Rascal doesn't get to use his anyway, so he was stunned. Chovy a little far forward. This is a good use of the Callista's ultimate. They actually almost kill 2 people here. If that was an Infernal, it would probably be a wipe. But the Ocean is also very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I mean, there's so many things going here for Genji. There is a gold lead, but again, we are, intelligent.
It should be just unbeatable. There's no way. How do they lose? What do they do? What do they... They're gonna lose this Elder. They're gonna lose this Elder. They're gonna lose this Elder, aren't they? Oh, no.
It's gonna be so hard to actually bring down. And also, this is Callista at Baron, so
how do they lose? Okay. So let's go. There's so many replays, by the way. My goodness. Give me time to look at the minimap after plays so that I can see what's going on before... Okay, so we're setting up for Baron, right? Genji have Ocean Soul. Someone should probably have cleared this out. Orin is doing his job and pushing the bottom lane forward. Fine. Still think you can get someone to shove it out. At this point, I'm pretty sure you just cede all of BDD's farm in favor of Clid. So Clid should probably be going up to the top side and then moving downward. Don't actually know what he's doing here. Okay, kind of aggressing against DRX, and then they're gonna move back around. Clid, I feel like Clid had to wait. Oh no, that's his ability, not his ghost. Looked like a ghost. So they're gonna start the Baron. I feel like this isn't necessarily what they want to do. I guess with Callista, they should be able to secure this completely free. Yep. So there's no way they lose. What is going on? They're losing. They lost. They just lost the Baron buff.
Is the real question. It's 33 minutes. They're gonna go for the top lane. They're gonna go for the top lane. You can see all the spam pings coming out right now. Look, they have a minion wave.
Oh, hey, look. You know what would have prevented this exact line of play? If someone pushed out the... Whatever. Okay, this is the end of the game.
So, it's not even about a smite fight anymore. DRX very exhausted in the summoner department. Chovy the only one now with the flash.
What do they do?
Go...
Okay, all ultimates are up. Rascal doesn't have flash. BDD does not have flash. Doran, Piochick, Deft, and Keria do not have flash. The only person with flash is Chovy.
1v11. 1v11 or something at this team fight in order for them to try to win.
All right, here we go. They've got so many sticks in the Baron right now. That's a big cast. Just trying.
What? Wait. What cask? What did he do? What did he do?
They've got so many.
What is he doing? I'm upset. I don't think he got the memo as to how they're supposed to play this. That is not an appropriate use of Gragas' ultimate, because now the disruption is gone. Okay, they finish that. Then Dawning Shadow helps them survive. They have no actual damage, I guess. Because... Wait, what did Clid do? Did you just get blown up? Okay, Clid, by the way, is just tanking the backside of the Baron, so he's just taking free damage. Okay. Okay.
Knockups come in with the Gragas. They have the damage. Ruler is in the backline. They're trying to get on top of him, but he is going to flash the wall. This fight so far being won here by the side of DRX, and Toby gets it.
Okay, what did Ornn do? I have to watch like every. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Before, okay, I'm gonna watch every individual member now. Okay, I need to know. I need to understand. What did they do? What did each person do in this fight to cause this to happen? Because this should have been guaranteed. This is a guaranteed win. This is just a win. They just win the game. Just win the game.
1v11 or something at this team fight in order for them to try to win.
All right, here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna watch Life first. Throws a cask. All right, dope. That does nothing. Then he gets ulted. Dope. Life. Dude, like it. Throw himself back in. Where is he? And he throws himself back into the middle of these people. Imagine if he had ult there. Okay, Ornn knocks up a bunch of people. Hecarim layers a CC. They do no damage. Ruler has to kite back because no one's stopping Doran from being on top of his face. Kyria didn't have to do anything. Reddit Rascal. Okay, we're done with Life now. What did BDD do? He threw out a Q. He put in a shield on Karma, or on Callista. He walks away from Doran. He's autoing. He's throwing an E. He's literally doing nothing. Okay, cool. Okay, what did Rascal do? Okay, he eat. All right, that's fine. That's fine. What did he? Oh, and then he gets his Call of the Forge God gets blocked. All right, fair enough. Fair play. I mean, limited options. I mean, we did pick Ornn into this situation, so that's, to be fair, that's on you. But it's fine. It's not the worst. You know, you did your job. To some degree. Okay. Rascal doesn't do anything. Okay. Let's watch Clid. Clid hitting this thing from the front. Then he decides I'm gonna go to the back and I'm gonna start taking a bunch of damage. I'm gonna lose 40% of my health. Alright, dope. Alright, and I'm gonna ult in. I'm gonna lose more of my health. I'm gonna continue to lose half of my health. I do not have Cinder Hulk, so I'm not very tanky at all. I target Piochick. Piochick goes into stasis and sets up the lilting lullaby. Ruler not able to do anything because he's not being given the space he needs, because everyone had no idea how to actually execute this composition. Dope. Alright.
They're gonna go for the top lane. You can see all the spam pings coming out right. Exhausted in this lead here. That is DRX at this point.
But imagine if someone, dude, it's a long. Look at how long the lane is. And my favorite part is Rascal doesn't even have teleport. If Rascal's on the top side doing this, he's defended by his team, and BDD can. You know, what was the state of bottom lane?
needs to find a certain book. Goes down, it puts Rascal under the lullaby, so Jinli sleep went off.
I don't know. I can't know.
And then it was just
I know that it was not great at this point.
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
shoved forward. I don't know how much. Hold on. Now I need to know, because I don't think.
Things are getting really, really problematic now for DRX. I don't know what they're expected
That man went to bottom lane for 15 CS.
to do. Toby
Okay.
Pokemon here. Flash to
Okay.
reposition. Full on
Fine.
by DRX at this point.
I don't know what the state of the lane was because the replay so long.
Really just stacking them up essentially.
Okay.
For so many members of their team.
Then they moved to the Baron immediately without setting up for the top side.
Yeah. I mean,
support him.
it's going to be so hard to actually bring him down. And also, this is Callista at Baron, so it's not even about a smite fight anymore. DRX very exhausted in the summoner department. Chovy the only one now with the flash, and he's going to need to go 1v11 or something at this team fight in order for them to try to win.
All right, here we go. They've got so many sticks in the Baron right now. That's a big cast. Just trying to get the Baron down, and then they want to go for the fight. Here we go. They get it. Massive knockups come in with the Gragas. Do they have the damage? Ruler is in the back line. They're trying to get on top of him, but he is going to flash the wall. This fight so far being won here by the side of DRX, and Chovy gets him over the wall. That is going to be a massive catch. Can they end the game? Is the real question. It's 33 minutes. They're going to go for the top lane.
They're going to go for the top lane. You can see all the spam pins coming out right now. Look, they have a minion wave. They have a cannon.
They do it.
And, okay, they're trying to go for this. Wait, Clid is almost up. They have teleport almost on Doran. They have teleport on Chovy.
They even could have been more patient and had someone clear topside because they had control over the river and they could have set up vision around it and not necessarily started it because they had full control of the game. Because there's no way that DRX can just decide, all right, we're gonna do the Baron now. And next explodes. Wow.
Is playing fantastically after getting that lead. Chovy is going insane in the mid lane, able to survive up in the top side at the same time, and it's just so much for these players. So it's all out. And you see here that Gen G are going to go for the straight. It's Mountain Drake this time around, so Ocean or Cloud.
Okay.
Going to be.
Free Dragon, not big decision. Use the Herald, it's fine. Don't end up getting the full tower, but that's fine too.
We're going to get it on this way for sure. We're big because he didn't get any plates. Even though that looks like a plate, I believe that.
Great. I mean, the mid lane is obviously awful, but fine.
Oh, thank everything, as I do believe Abyssal Mass will be the item purchase this game.
Yeah, there you go. So congratulations. We've got one correct LS item here in this game, and we'll have to wait and see how the rest of that build does go. But certainly things looking still good down the bottom side. I mean, they haven't really been putting any pressure depth and carry. They're just sitting back in the lane and catching waves, and maybe just trying not to get dove. So we'll see how long that turret can survive. Clid is going to get spotted actually by the Scryer's Bloom. So some really crucial information before they do go for that.
I'm just trying to figure it all out.
You can see they were hesitating a little bit before that did come down. So certainly they had.
Did it really just come down to that?
Yeah,
The execution of the team fight
Gen G are just feeling pretty
and
good
the mid lane.
as they're up a little bit in the gold department, but they have the two most meaningful Drakes in the early stages of the game. They are going to lose the top tier 1 turret, but it's not the end of the world. You don't see all the Merc Treads coming out on their team. That is pretty good news for Renekton, for what that's worth. I think that a little bit of Boris coming out for DRX, though. Double Black Cleaver, both on Senna and Renekton, is going to come out here for them. As only Ornn is really going to be the tanky one on the enemy team. Phage complete over the Kindle Gem, so he's valuing the Rage passive for Renekton here.
Yeah.
1 minute until the Ocean Rage.
Yeah, they're just going to try to lock it down. There's no referrals or anything like that yet available, but looks like I believe one is about to spawn. Okay, there it is, but there's not quite enough time to pick it up, and then
we
use
look
that for pressure to
40
force
seconds
Secure
into
the
this dragon.
So we'll just probably be a clean straight.
They
fight
kind of
for
move
Renekton.
around.
Double TP available for Rascal and BDD. Double TP inside for Chovy and Doran. So they can try to manipulate.
They could have been.
But DRX do feel strong enough, and man, they've got a couple of really strong picks actually.
When DRX committed to the dragon, I feel like they could have moved to the Herald
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, at this point, Gen G
and said, okay, we're not necessarily where we want to be with our items.
crashing in the midway. They have Vision of Doran.
We
Should be
can
pretty difficult
hold
fight,
off
but we'll see what doesn't
one
happen.
dragon
Only
and
about
then
5%
go
up.
for the
Gonna
next
steal away
one.
Rascal's ult.
That seems to be
And
such
so
a
build maybe an item prior to this team fight. They're gonna be really
difficult
careful, though,
decision to
Chovy
make.
With that Ornn ultimate, Ruler level 10, Hecarim.
A lot of teams fall into this.
Looking at position with
I don't know if
this
it, I wouldn't call it a trap. It's not like
against Braum. I don't know why Gen G are positioning like this. Okay, well, Doran taking a little bit of damage. Okay, Lily holding ball whips.
They've been able to get into the river now, so seems like both sides in a pretty good position. Here comes Chovy's version as the knockup goes in. It's not very effective, but Clid is getting low. The knockup here, Senna getting a lot of value though as Clid gets low.
they actually get a lot going, but life like gives back for some reason.
Where is the follow-up?
Like they had it.
Okay, life goes in, but You didn't get anything else, and now the Ocean Drake is going to go the way of DRX, and they are looking to try to come back in the series.
Yeah, and you can see that Ruler is trying to get something done. He just doesn't have the firepower yet. Inside this game, he doesn't have the Runon's Hurricane. And this is one of the best timing fights that DRX could have hoped for because that
And then they go for the Herald after, and I don't know if they get it because they, yeah, because then you don't know if they can come for it.
Can come in as early as 17 minutes. This is an 18 and a half, 19-minute dragon capture attempt. And,
it's so painful. Yeah, I actually think this came down to execution on the team comp, and no willingness to be patient. I feel like the third dragon is something that you can actually, you're willing to give up if you have two. And it's probably a tough call to make because not just the the competitive nature of the game, obviously the stress and all that nonsense, which is nonsense, but there's also, if you get it, you feel way better on Soul Point, and the game just smooth sailing from there, right? Because then you can now make the decisions like, all right, we give up dragons. We can always, whenever we go contest for a dragon, they'll know that we're going for Soul Point, which means that we can use it to split. We can use that pressure to split the map if we want to. We can use that pressure to push them into uncomfortable team fights around the dragon. I don't like pinning things to execution, but I think that they just executed poorly. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. To be fair to Gen G, I wanna look at everyone on DRX. What did they do?
And he's gonna need to go 1v11 or something in this team fight in order for them to try to win.
All right, here we go.
Doran threatening away BDD. I don't know if that's necessarily important. Kyria holding on to his shield. There it is. Deft staying very far away. No one's really able to threaten him. Am I going at 2x speed? I am.
For them to try to win.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Braum hits that. I don't actually think that was super great.
Sticks in the Baron right now. That's a big cast. Just trying to get
okay, Chovy's putting out free damage. He actually a little close to the wall, so now he gets knocked up. There's a lot of damage from Deft. It's a very good Dawning Shadow. I don't. All right, B did he use his mantra Q? Mantra Q. Q. We're not talking about BDD right now. We're looking at DRX. Okay, so Kyria held onto the thing. I think Chovy went a little close. Deft keeping his distance, I think very smartly. Rascal isn't a legitimate threat to him, so he can walk up if he wants to, which he does.
But he is going to flash the wall. This fight so far being won here by
then Ruler also gets hit.
Gets him over the wall. That is going to be a massive catch, and can they end the game? Is the real question. It's 33 minutes. They're going to go for the top lane.
They're going to go for the top lane. You can see all the spam pings coming out right now.
I mean, when you get to this position, right? With the composition that you have, you're not really behind gold-wise. You are behind, obviously, because I mean, at this point they were actually about even. There was like 2K deficit, not super big. A lot of it was probably just on the mid lane because of the massive CS discrepancy. You should feel really good. I feel like once you get to this point, you have Ocean Soul. You're not really behind because of Ornn items, because your composition scales well. The only thing you can say at the end is like, we just misexecuted the fight. Really unfortunate. I don't like pinning things down to that. I think that you have to in this case. And the decision around third dragon, I think. And the pick and ban. Those are the big problems, right? I think not necessarily fully understanding how to team fight with the composition that they had. And that's from each person, right? I think that there was some bright spots for everyone, but there was some, I mean, Life really had a very interesting game. BDD obviously wasn't super great because of the CS problem. Ruler played fine. Clid played fine. Rascal was alright in general, but then some issues with team fighting, I think. Has to be misexecution. And then, again, third Dragon decision, I think they could have just traded for Rift Herald. It's not equal, but it's safer because you split against DRX. You get to your items when you want to. You can use it to pressure the map. And it's not necessarily like that pivotal of an objective, the Rift Herald, but it's something rather than going in, losing the dragon, and then losing the herald after because you're not necessarily able to fight. So that might just be in hindsight. And also I think that you ban Callista, pick Ashe, and the whole comp just feels so much better. Because then you have long range CC that you can then set up with, right? So then you have the engage option, right? So right now they only have the counter engage tools. If they have Ashe, if this is Ashe, he throws an arrow, and then Life can go in, and then Clid and Rascal can go in, and then it's much easier for them to execute, I think. So yeah. Not the greatest showing, so I'm not gonna say that this is like LCK is bad and top of the tables isn't even that good. I just think that this was not the best game. The early game was really good though from Gen.G. I think that they understood their win condition really well. I think that they moved. They used their teleport. They used their teleports fairly well. They used their mid lane movement very well. Just the mid lane kind of moved too much, which then resulted in losing out on a lot of farm. Obviously, it's a low econ. The pick intention for Karma is low econ mid laner. You hit those two items, and you're basically like, I don't care about farm. Just give it to Clid on Hecarim. But yeah, it just seems difficult. I mean, I just imagine Ornn top, Hecarim jungle, Gragas mid, Ashe, Karma bottom feels so much better, so much more doable into DRX's comp. So credit to DRX. They outplayed him, and they get to move on. So it'll be interesting. And the LCS and LEC should be interesting this weekend too. I'm Raho. That's it. Bye.